This is a really, really big deal. I mean, seriously, this is a huge deal. This is a changing of the political landscape. For the better, for the worse, well, we don't know. What we do know is things are going from blue to red pretty swiftly. I'm going to read you two different articles here. Uh, First one is the Mercury News. California likely to lose congressional seat for first time in history after 2020 census. California is moving out of lead to cut in Golden State's political clout. The more citizens your state has, believe it or not, the more important your state is. My state is quite small, has a very low population, is a very poor state. It is one of the poorest states. And because of that, we're a flyover state. Presidents don't generally stop here because we don't have that much of a voice. We just don't as a state. We don't have that many seats. The more population you have, the more seats you have. The more seats you have, well, the more voice you have. The more likely you're to get government funding, get projects for your state approved. It's kind of the rich get richer and poor get poorer thing, but it works with states as well. The more population you have, the bigger voice you have, the more the government will look at that state like we have to keep that state appeased because they have more voters. Politics. I don't like it, but that's politics. I'll read some of this one, then I'll go to the other one here. California is likely to lose a congressional seat for the first time in history after this year's census, with the state's slowing growth rate trimming its political clout, according to an analyst of new population data released this week. And it's not just California, it is New York like crazy. New York, I believe, last time I saw, was the number one state that was leaving, according to U-Haul data. Every year, U-Haul puts out travel data, and U-Haul is a really good source to find out politically where the political environment is moving to. And according to U-Haul's data, New York is the number one state that people are moving out of, and people are leaving blue states and moving into red states. Is this going to turn red states blue? No, I don't believe it will. Blue states tend to have very high taxes, very high regulation, which makes things more expensive. I mean, you can add 2 plus 2 together, right? High taxes, lots of regulation, meaning everything else costs more. Costs get passed on to consumers. People are a little bit sick of it. New York, a lot of the problem is the high cost of living, obviously the high taxes. New York has some very high taxes. Joe, I forget his name, I forget where he's a congressional seat holder for a part in New York. Joe Casali, no, I don't remember his name. He was saying, it makes New York untenable, meaning unlivable. You can't live the American dream there. You can't advance. Everything's so expensive. Everything's crazy. I lived in Long Island for a while. It's Suffolk County, not far from Roosevelt Field, it's crazy there. The projected drop from 53 to 52 seats in the House of Representatives will lead to a reshuffling of the state's political map and potentially divisive congressional races between incumbents in 2022. Possibly it will. It will absolutely lead to some mudslinging and things like that. So I'm going to skip a couple paragraphs here, and then I'm going to go to the other article real quick, just for time. It's interesting that we have to edit it for time because the average attention span of people today is 10 minutes. Isn't that funny? What you are seeing is a continuation of the trend that's been happening from the 1930s. Not really, dude. You're kind of stretching that a little bit. It's been going on for about 10 years. For the last 10 years, it's been going on. It's only now escalated to a point where it's starting to affect California politically. People leaving the Northeast and Upper Midwest and going south and west, said Kimball Brace, the president of Election Data Services. They're moving from states with high taxes and high cost living to states with low taxes and low cost living. It's the same thing that people have been doing for a long time, like when they take American dollars and they move down to Mexico, and then they send you an email saying, hey man, on $800 a month, I'm living like a king down here. You should come down here and, yeah. So let's go to this one here. And like I said, U-Haul data is a really good one. I encourage you to look it up if you have a curiosity into it. But more immigrants are moving into Trump states. I know you can't see that because of the camera. I'm sorry. Once this channel makes enough money to actually get purchase subscriptions on the channel's budget, then this will get better. I promise you. The channel needs to improve and get better. The channel must be self-sustainable. I have to get it to that point. More immigrants are moving into Trump states instead of expensive cities in blue states. Here's how the shift could reshape the 2020 election and beyond. Absolutely, it's going to reshift it. An increasing number of immigrants are moving into states that swung for President Donald Trump in 2016. And they're opting for them over blue states that are traditionally magnets for newcomers seeking to carve out a new life in the United States. And the reason they're a magnet, in my opinion, is this. So you're starting off life, let's say you just graduated college, let alone the fact that college kind of is an indoctrination place into far liberal ideology. I'm a centrist, I'm a moderate, I see both sides, but in college it is heavily liberal to the point of absurdity. The things that you experience in college are just absurd. So if you are going to college, stand your ground. Don't let people influence you. Step back. Don't be a part of the crowd. And look at things from a logical perspective and look at life from a realistic perspective. It will help you a lot. It really will. I have done quite well in college. Nationally recognized, as a matter of fact. Just stick to your guns. You know what's right. Don't let other people tell you what's right. And don't be afraid to say your opinion, even if it is an unpopular opinion. Because when you graduate college, the shock of life, bitch slapping you across the face and saying, "Hi, I'm life," can be overwhelming if you're not prepared. The world does not give rewards to people for mundane things. We live in a society that should be, anyways, based on merit. I don't care the color of your skin or your sexual orientation. I just don't care. You do you. What you decide to do with your life is what you decide to do with your life. What I want is the best individuals for the job. That's what we used to be like. And generally, it kind of seems nowadays that the Democrats that used to be middle road moderate, that thought like I do, like, yes, we want the best person for the job, have moved to this position of, we want the best person for the best soundbite. We want the best person for the best photo op. We want the best person for the best opportunity to virtual signal to everybody else of, look at us and look at the ivory tower. And the ivory tower in all its splendor. But yet the emperor has no clothing, and he's prancing around saying, "Look at me and be like me." I am sorry, emperor. I don't want to be like you. I'd rather be someone who steps back and looks at life from a realistic perspective. Anyways, wow, we went off on a rant on that one, didn't we? If you look on the states, whether they voted for Trump or have low concentrations of foreign-born, they're the ones getting the biggest percentage increases. William Frey, a senior Brookings Institute fellow, told Business Insider. Yes. What does that tell you politically? That people are tired of this social justice and this system that rewards people for nothing. I agree with the fact where if you have food stamps, then you should at least either A, try to get a job, B, maintain a job at whatever level you can, or C, go to some sort of job training programs or life programs. If you're in a situation where you cannot work and you're on food stamps because you are disabled in some way, shape, or form, physically or mentally or otherwise, then obviously it would be good for you to take part in programs that help you live and help you become something more. I agree with that. And if you want to just sit at home and do nothing and watch Rick and Morty all day long and do nothing, then why should my taxpayer dollars go to pay for you to sit on the couch and watch Rick and Morty? I don't understand that logic. I don't get a tax refund. I pay taxes. I don't get a refund. My taxes get taken. So I don't want my money being wasted. I'm glad to give this money for the betterment of social environments. But the better we're informed about things, the better we can make decisions on where our hard-earned money goes. And I don't want somebody to slounge off my hard-earned money. If it goes to improve somebody in some way, shape, or form, I am all for it. Absolutely. 100% I am for it. But people are moving to these states because I believe they're tired of the system at the moment. Open borders with health care for all, how do we work that? How does that work? Driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, how does that work? I understand the good and the bad, all right? I understand the good, yes. Now they supposedly at least have taken a driving test and we know that they know how to drive. Someone said that makes sure that they have insurance. No, it doesn't. I live in a very poor state, and we're one of the highest states with the highest auto accidents. We have the highest insurance rates. When it comes to insurance, I know very well about insurance and uninsured drivers in my state because it's a big thing in my state. And people have driver's licenses, and they drive all the time, and they don't have insurance. You get in a wreck, and they take off because they don't have insurance, because they are an illegal immigrant who has a driver's license. My state has been issuing driver's license to illegal immigrants for a long time. And I have been in wrecks with individuals who caused a wreck and they were an illegal immigrant and they had a driver's license and they just took off. Human. Imagine that. Human nature. Frey, who authored the research, was referring to states like Pennsylvania, a key battleground in the 2020 election that registered nearly 25% growth in its immigrant population since 2010. That marked a substantial double-digit increase that far outpaces many other states across the nation. And the bluer the state, actually, the faster the decline. So California's reached a point where they aren't gaining any people. They lost one seat because their population slightly went down, but generally they've been stagnant. They were growing for a long time up until 10 years ago. It started to slow down, and then it has now gotten to a point where it's stagnant, slightly declining. So that kind of shows trends of it declining further in the future. New York has dropped 0.4%. That doesn't sound like a lot, but 0.4% is a lot for New York. It's too expensive to live there. People don't want to live there. Anyways, I have ranted about this quite long enough. I hope your attention span has brought you to the end. If it has, I thank you. I thank you very much. Let's see if I do this right. I believe I have done that right. Yes, I did. If you've made it to the end, I thank you for your time. I thank you for listening to my opinion. Now, this is the point in which you get to give your opinion as well, because guess what? Your opinion matters too, and I want to know what you believe. Have I offended you in any way? Because I have a right to be offensive. And you have a right to be offended, obviously, if you want to listen. And you have a right to tell me that you're offended and tell me how you're offended. And I'm sure I've offended somebody out there. But that's discussion. I'm trying to give you an example of what a good discussion is. Listening to dissenting opinions and getting truths and weighing the truths of the dissenting opinion against your own truths and coming up with something that is the truth out of both of them. And you have nothing to lose from hearing dissenting opinions other than bad ideas. And it's good to lose bad ideas. If you never challenge your belief system, how do you know your belief system is correct? Anyways, 15 minutes long. Holy crap, almost. Yeah, I've ranted long enough. If you made it this far, congratulations. You have superseded what, according to studies, say is the average attention span of the average American. Kudos to you. Give me your opinions, like, comment, subscribe, and help me beat this damn YouTube algorithm. It hates me. It hates me. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next one.